Hi everyone. I'm recording this video to explain a little bit what happened to Moura Accounting and in the middle of this coronavirus crisis, how we responded and how we've been helping other clients respond. Before I go into that, I want to give a little bit of background about myself and about Moura Accounting. So I started Moura Accounting in 2019, fairly recently. We're a little under a year that we've been open, and my original experience is in corporate finance at the Burger King headquarters, and there I did budgeting, forecasting, planning, and we started Moura Accounting last year with the purpose of helping small business owners improve their back office finance function, and that includes accounting, bookkeeping, their accounts payable, accounts receivable, helping small business owners get more organized, have a better understanding of their numbers so that they can manage and improve their business, improve their lives through better quality reporting, better quality understanding of their numbers, and that's why we created Moura Accounting. And so fast forward to now in March, we've added a couple clients. We've helped a couple clients in that regard, in the restaurant industry, in legal services, in co-working industry, and now in the beginning of March, we realized that this coronavirus was going to have an impact on the economy. And in the last 10 days, we've noticed how truly big the impact is going to be on the economy and on our clients. And since our goal is to help clients grow and become more profitable and improve their businesses, we realized that if our clients are going to suffer, we're also going to suffer. So I came to that realization, a little under 2 weeks ago, and started thinking, how can I help our clients, be successful in this time? Or if not be successful, at least survive through this crisis and set themselves up to be more successful after this crisis. Because we know it's going to pass at some point. We just need to have the stamina and have the preparation and have take the right steps in order to go through it and be able to come out the other side better prepared and with the right lessons learned. So we started shifting what we were doing, and I've explained in this page that you've accessed the four main things that we at Moura Accounting decided to do for our firm in the middle of this crisis to kind of protect ourselves and set ourselves up to make it through the crisis and make it after the crisis. And I want to go through those really quickly. So first, we discussed managing cash flow. Some business owners are aware of this, but not everyone. But when you're in a situation like this, the income statement doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what your profit and loss says. You can be making a profit at the bottom and on the bottom line. Say your business, you have $100,000 in revenue a month, or just use that because it's an easy number, and you have 10% profit. You're flowing through 10,000 at the end of the month. Problem is, at this time, you're going to be negative. You're going to be negative, right? You're going to have a loss, most likely. You're going to be negative 10, negative 20, negative 30. But the issue is not that number. The issue is, do you have enough cash? Do you have enough? Do you have the liquidity necessary to keep your business through the end of the crisis and be able to reopen your business after the crisis? And then, are you going to be able to sustain the business after the crisis? That's the real question. So it's not a question of income statement. It's more of a question of the balance sheet. How much cash do you have? How much accounts payable do you have? How much accounts receivable do you have? Do you have enough cash to last you through the end of the crisis? If you do at this point, great. But maybe you don't even know if you have enough cash. So here at Moura Accounting, since we're a relatively new firm, we looked and said, look, we don't have that much of a cash reserve. We need to set ourselves up to make it through the end of the crisis. So the first step was to manage cash flow. How do you do that? It's pretty simple. The first thing you need to do is try to manage your accounts payable. Everything flowing out of your bank account, your cash outflows. What is that? You can have bills that are accumulated, bills this month, or to your suppliers, your employees, to the federal government, to the state government. Whatever you can delay, whatever you can hold off on paying. For example, the federal government's announced that they're delaying tax payments. At this point, that's something I would highly suggest most businesses to do, because you should hold on to that cash so that you can keep the essential expenses that you need to have to keep your business open or to be able to reopen later. And with your other vendors, primarily the big ones, you should hold off the payments or try to negotiate extended terms in the middle of the crisis and explain that because the coronavirus crisis, your business is being impacted, and you need to extend terms. And the bigger vendors, they are already implementing policies to do that. They should be open to it. They will have to be open to it because businesses all over the country are in the same situation. And the bigger vendors, I'll give an example. Like, if you're a restaurant, you have U.S. Foods. U.S. Foods is a huge company, and they negotiate with big banks, and they have a lot of leverage. And the federal government is injecting a ton of money to the banks at practically zero interest rates to be able to keep the economy alive. So the big companies like U.S. Foods are able to get more funding at this point. But the smaller businesses, which through the Small Business Administration, through the federal government loans, they're going to supposedly get access to funding as well. But it's not quite as simple, not quite as straightforward as the big companies, which have direct access and direct contact. So managing cash flow is the first most important thing for you in your business. The second thing that we looked at, I mentioned the cash flow, the outflows, and then accelerating the inflows, right? Maybe your business, you deliver a service, you deliver a product, and then you send an invoice, and you have, net 10, net 30 terms. That's not the ideal right now. For example, at Moura Accounting, we try as much as possible to receive at least a portion of the fee that we charge for services upfront, and then the remainder once services are delivered. Why do we do that? Because we need that cash up front. We need that cash up front to make sure that we maintain a positive balance in the account. And if we delay as well the cash outflows, then we can extend the time that our cash is going to last. And that's key in order for us to be able to keep the business running. So managing cash flow is key. Second thing we discussed was repositioning your offer. Industries all over are affected. If you've been following the news regarding restaurants, regarding for the food service industry in general, they've had to adapt immensely because they've been ordered to shut down their dine-in services. So restaurants that were mainly dine-in, there were 70-80% dine-in restaurants. They've had to shift. They've had to adopt to takeout, delivery. They've had to adapt touchless payments in order to be able to sell something, to increase the cash flow so that they can keep the business open. And people in the service industry are in a similar position. In the accounting industry, a lot of people are already losing clients. Why? Because day-to-day bookkeeping or tax preparation right now in the situation we're in, for most business owners, they're saying that's not an essential service for me to keep my business open. I can let the books, I can leave the books for now and do it myself, and get to it, when I'm in a better cash position. So people are cutting that. So the accountants that are positioning themselves to help business owners in forecasting their cash flow, setting up a plan to get out of the hole, setting up a plan to get funding, from the Small Business Administration or whoever it is, extend tax payments. Those are the accountants that business owners are seeing as essential people that they need in order to keep their business alive. And at Moura Accounting, we've taken that approach. We're shifting our services, more away from, just day-to-day bookkeeping or compliance to more advisory, helping business owners figure out, okay, what's the path? How do I get out of this? How do I survive this? What do I need at this point? Do I need to get a loan? Do I simply need to diversify the products that I'm selling? If I'm a restaurant, do I need to change my menu? If I'm a lawyer, do I need to change the services I provide? If I'm an accountant, do I need to change the services I provide? That's what business owners need to be doing right now. Being flexible and seeing the new landscape and what the opportunity is. So that's the second key thing. Third, once you've defined the key changes that need to be done in your business, then set up a plan in place. Set a good plan in place. Define the goals. For example, if you're a restaurant and you just shift to delivery and takeout, do the math and understand what kind of goals you need to hit to be able to maintain enough cash to make it through 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. We don't know how long this crisis is going to last. And then once you have a few scenarios, you can see, if I achieve this much in delivery, if I'm able to achieve, 80% of my prior volume through delivery and takeout, I may need, this much in loans. If I achieve 90%, I may not need loans at all. If I achieve 60%, I'm going to need a ton of loans. If I don't achieve that, then I may have to close. You need to have that planning. You need to define what the next steps are to keep your business alive, and then decide, okay, what is that going to look like? What do I need to do? What are the goals I need to hit? And once you've done that, then you need to, connect with the team you have, connect with the people you may have. Maybe you've already let some people go, which is terrible. But if you still have people that work with you and you want to keep them, you want to keep the business alive, you need to keep them involved, and you need to have them be aware of the situation, aware of the next steps you're taking, and rally the team around a goal, rally the team around a mission, and then go after that. So those are the key things that we've been working on at Moura Accounting for us. Some of our clients have been shifting. We have a restaurant, for example, that we noticed was declining tremendously. We in the past 2 weeks, we saw all of a sudden the restaurant was down 10% one day versus prior year, then 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, 90%, and then the mall ordered all the restaurants to close. So then that restaurant was depleting its cash, was already getting out of the winter, which is not good for this business. And now they're out of cash. So what's the next step? We need to get a loan, because this business has been around a long time. We know it's going to reopen, and it's going to be able to operate the business again if we can get some funding to reopen when it's possible. So that's one thing we did for one client. Another client, we have a client that does legal services, and we sat down with the client and said, look, you do this, but in the midst of this crisis, there's going to be a lot of firms that are going to be saying, look, this is an essential for my business. I can make it without this. What can you offer in the midst of this crisis that your clients are going to say, look, I really need this, especially in this economy? And they're going to see you as an essential service. That's the approach we've been taking with clients. And I've included on this page a link for you to sign up. And then if you'd like to also schedule a 15-minute call with me, a free call, I'm open to discussing with you what your situation is, seeing what next steps need to be taken, and understanding, what the path is for you to make it through this crisis. And I'm offering this call free. I'm leaving my schedule open for anyone who wants to go through a call and discuss, to have our help in regarding that, because I think that's an important thing right now in this economy, is for every business to evaluate how we can better serve our clients to make it through this crisis. That's how Moura Accounting is going to make it through the crisis. That's how our clients are going to make it through the crisis. We all need to reevaluate. We all need to make sure our seatbelts are buckled and be very clear on what the goal is, what the plan is, and how we're going to get there. All right, so that's the video. Please sign up for the email list. Feel free to sign up for a 15-minute call with us to explain, to go through your situation, next steps, and we'll be in touch. All right, bye-bye.